Running. It is involved in almost any physical activity you take part in. Whether you are sprinting to make a touchdown in a football game, or just doing a 60-minute jog, running is in everyday life. There are people that use their skills to compete in races ranging from short to long distances. While these athletes run, injuries may occur, and most just believe that it is the life of a runner. But what many people don't know is that running is more than the simple action of moving quickly, that there are certain details that one must focus on to become faster and more efficient competitors. It is most likely that they may be performing the wrong running form, leading to injuries and slower times than the runner can potentially make. The proper running form can prevent these negative effects, so you can do your best while running. Hello, Coach Austin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you for meeting me here.
No problem.
So I have some questions, if you don't mind, if I could ask them.
Okay.
So, what is your background? What motivated you to start running?
Okay. Really, I started running in junior high when I was in Lufkin. I lived in East Texas, and it was kind of funny. One day I just heard over the intercom tryouts for cross country, and I said, "What is that?" So I showed up to try out for it and found out it was long distance running, and I went the first day and was so excited about just running. I don't know why. It was fun. It was something I felt like I could really do well. So that's how I got my start, and then I ran all through high school and focused more on middle distance training, but was able to find a spot to run on in college at McMurray University, and went there, and I was a two-time national qualifier at McMurray University running the 800. I also ran cross country. I wasn't quite as good at the 8K as I was the 800, but so I did that, and then when I graduated college, I had I had an undergraduate degree in basically Bachelor of Sciences, kinesiology / physical therapy training, and I always knew I wanted to coach. That was something I knew I always wanted to do. So I got a job at Diboll High School. Was my first job. I was volleyball coach, basketball coach, cross country and track coach, and everything else in between. And eventually moved up to the head coach within a year, and pretty much been doing that ever since. So I'm a USATF Level 1 certified coach, and I have a master's in education. So
That's amazing, Coach.
Yeah, it's fun.
What can you tell me through your experience? What is improper running form, and do you have any examples of it?
Improper running form. The thing about running form is that you have to keep in mind that everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no two people are built the same way. Some people are short, some people are tall, some people are muscular build, some people are a little thinner. So that you have to take a lot of that into consideration when you're talking about running form. There are some key factors that you'll notice on some runners. No matter what the type of build they have, really, that they do either wrong or just improperly. A lot of times you'll see runners reaching. You'll see them trying to overstride and basically do too much on their stride. It's been driven into people's head for such a long time that a long stride is the best way to go, when in reality an economic stride is the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Short enough, not too long, but not too short either, right in the middle where you can turn it over fast and do that. So you see people reaching a lot, and that causes them to land on their heel, or overpronation, where it causes them to push outwards when they kick out to the sides. And then some of the things that you can pick out the easiest, and it's all stemmed together from the way you plant, but you see the arms crossing the body, you see maybe an unnatural bounce in the stride, and that's all. A lot of times that's caused by overreaching in a stride, by trying to run with too long of a gait.
Can you tell me about crossover gait?
Okay, crossover gait is basically when you're almost like running on a straight line. Okay, it's going to cause you to pronate, which means push in and then out with your heel is going to kind of pop out. So it's going to look like you kind of have a back kick that goes out to the side. And when you cross over, you're taking a step one in front of the other. And so it's causing For girls, it's real because of the way their hips are set. It's more natural in girls than it is boys. Boys' hips are straight line. Girls are kind of turned out, and so it's again another example of how everybody's kind of different there. But it causes you to basically almost overstride in that gait because you're crossing over and having to extend the hip a little further. Make sense?
Without taking these small but significant tips in mind, we are bound to not run to the best of our abilities, resulting in an unsatisfactory performance. We need to use our energy wisely, paying close attention to what our body is doing, from the position your foot strikes the ground to your arm swing. To accurately account for these mistakes, we need to look at an actual visual representation of how we run. This is a video of me running before taking the proper running form into consideration. We'll be viewing 3 angles and pinpoint my mistakes. One from the side, one from the front, and one from the back. As we are viewing the side view, we'll be looking for the following problems: arm swing, ground strike, body lean, and vertical displacement. All these factors hinder our ability to run smoothly and effectively. Therefore, they are good to point out early on if you want to become a more successful runner. Try looking for anything that may seem unnatural to you, and see if it was one of the listed problems. Let's play the video now. Did you notice any problems? Let's play it again twice as slow, and see if you can catch them. It's time for the analysis. Let's view the first mistake, shall we? Second you see me come in, I'm overstriding, and it's much easier to see in this video that it's just like I'm trying to halt, and it's exactly what is going on. Every step that you take, you're slowing yourself down. Not only that, you're putting yourself at risk of injury. This constant pattern can create inflammation and stress on your hips and knees, resulting in problems such as PFPS and ITBS. The next mistake we will look at is at my arm swing. Your arm should be right next to your body and not crossing over in front of you. This does 2 things: makes you unbalanced and limits your breathing. When you run with your arm swinging in front of your torso, it can make it harder to breathe. If done repeatedly, this could get you tired quicker, and you might not finish the race at a good time. Your arms, if used correctly, can help your momentum and allow you to run better throughout your run. You also want to keep your arms bent relatively at a 90-degree angle, and relax your shoulders. You use up energy when you have tension. In the video, it seems I have followed the criteria rather well, but I could relieve some tension and drive my arms back a bit further. But other than those small flaws, this section does not seem to need much improvement. Next, we will look at body lean. This ties in with vertical displacement, so I'll go over both here in this portion of the video. Vertical displacement is when one bounces too much when they run and energy is wasted moving up rather than going forward. Body lean helps with this problem. The objective is not to lean forward from your waist, which may seem natural to do, but to instead slightly move your entire body from your ankles to your shoulders. Instead of you bouncing vertically, you will be bouncing horizontally, and you will focus more on moving forward. But it is also recommended to reduce bouncing regardless. In the video, some bouncing can be seen, and I had no lean at all. Now we must direct our attention to the front angle, and we will look to see for the following problems: ground strike, crossover gait, excess lateral movement, and symmetry. Let's begin. Since we have already discussed about ground strike, this will be brief. If you record yourself running from this perspective and see the sole of your foot, you are overstriding. Simple as that. Now we will cover crossover gait. As previously mentioned, this is when you practically run in a straight line, which is not good since it could lead to injuries such as lateral meniscus tear, ITBS, and more. Here we can see that it is quite visible. One foot is landing right in front of the other, creating a straight line all the way through. We will now go over both excess lateral movement and symmetry. Excess lateral movement is when a runner's legs or hips are moving more than necessary, causing them to be uneven and become unbalanced, and as a result, there's less symmetry from the left and right side of the body. As we look, there is symmetry, and there are no left and right movements on the leg joints, but my entire body is moving from side to side. However, this is due to crossover gait, not from excessive lateral movement. In the back angle, the mistakes we are looking for are exactly the same as the front, but some problems are much easier to see from the other points of views. In the back angle, we look for the following problems: ground strike, crossover gait, excess lateral movement, and symmetry. Let's begin. In the video, if we zoom in, we can see the heel already on the ground. It may be a bit blurry, we can also see the instep of the foot in the next frame. However, it meets contact with the ground, further proving that I'm overstriding. In the front angle, it may be a bit difficult to see if I have crossover gait or not, but in this angle, it may be more visible. When I begin to place the location where my foot makes contact with the ground, we can see that there is a straight line being made, and I look jerky and unnatural moving from side to side. It is a major problem that I had, and it needed major fixing. Here it is again, so you can see it for yourself. Our final analysis will be to ensure if I have excess lateral movement, or symmetry. Before I began to run, I was to wear shorts and a shirt of distinct colors, so it would be easier to see torso and hip problems. As you can see, there is no excessive lateral movement as predicted from the front view. Symmetry is confirmed, but as also previously mentioned, the crossover gait moves my entire body from side to side. We've been through 3 angles of improper running form. Viewing the points of views have shined some light on some possible injuries, and how the mistakes made were hindering my ability to run the best I could. What now? Can this be changed? Is it too late? This is where we put the proper running form into effect. How do we prevent these injuries coming from proper running form?
Okay. Really, it just takes focus. It takes time. And really, it takes, for one thing, the best way to do it obviously is to learn the right way at the earliest point. You know, when you're a kid, getting involved in the right kind of groups, the right kind of sports, things like that teach proper running form or more natural running form. Lots of barefoot running. The more barefoot running you can do, the better. It's gonna force your body to run a little bit more correct, a little more economic, just because it forces you to stay off your heel. Because when you run barefoot, you don't run on your heel. Focus is the biggest thing. When you run, if you think about what you're doing, you can automatically correct it. And if you stay focused on it for long periods of time, it will start to become habit. And that's really what you're trying to do. That's really the only way to correct running form. You can do drills, you can do all kinds of things like that, but it really just comes from focus and practice.
Well, what is proper running form? How would you explain and describe it?
Okay, proper running form is kind of like how I talked about earlier. It's a runner who's not overstriding. You're going to land mid-foot. Okay, you're not going to land on your heel, and you're also not going to be on your toe. Your heel may touch the ground briefly, but it's not going to land there instantly. You're not going to have too much of a reach, which means your foot's not going to be going in front of your knee at any point. Okay, it basically follows the knee. Where the knee goes, the foot goes, and then it drops. A runner stays tall, okay, because of that. And when you push off the ground, it may cause your body as a whole to lean forward a little bit, but you're still straight. You have a plumb line going from your head all the way through your toes when they are on the ground.
We will now view my progress since then. The way I run in the video is now a habit, and you will see a drastic change from months ago and present time. I won't go into great detail, but I will go over the major changes. Such a difference, isn't it? Keep in mind that this new form is done unconsciously. I'm not forcing myself to do this. Have I perfected the running form? As different as it may look, there are still mistakes, but they are minor ones. When you see my foot coming down, I am not landing on the ball of my feet, rather a bit more on the toes. This is just a slight problem, however. It really shows how I've made the effort since then, taking the proper running form in mind. To land on the middle of my foot, my arm swing has dramatically improved since I have both arms moved to give me good momentum. There are no arms crossing the body, they are right next to me. I do have another mistake, however, and that is that there is no body lean at all, and I'm still bouncing a bit. Once I solve those 2 problems, I'll be able to perform an even better running form. Now we can see how I've improved, and this perspective will allow us to analyze progress made. Comparing it to the other video, there seems to be the same problem, crossover gait. My running form looks a lot more smoother, but fixing the gait will allow me to move even more efficiently, and symmetry is still not a problem. Here we can see the same problem repeating itself, but this is just another way of looking at it, so we may trace another mistake. Luckily, there doesn't seem to be any other ones. This concludes the analysis. One more question, Coach. What can you tell me about your experience with running, and what makes running such a special thing to you?
To me, I always go back to my very first cross country meet when I was a 7th grade kid, and I woke up that morning. We were going from Lufkin to Dayton, which is about a 2.5 hour trip, and so we were leaving at like 5 o'clock. So I got up at 4 and got all my stuff on. It was the first time that I really ever put on a uniform that I felt like I really had to earn. Because in baseball and basketball, especially in a small town, you just show up and you're on the team. And this one, we'd been going for 2 or 3 months, we'd been putting in mileage and, nothing like I'd ever done before. And I think it was the first time I really ever felt like I earned the right to put on a uniform. And I was so proud of it. Even though I did terrible at the meet, it was awful. I think I even stopped and walked once, don't tell anybody that. But I got better. But, just the pride of knowing that it's a sport where no matter how talented you are, you can have success in it. Because I look at some of my best runners that I've had over a period of time, and I've had state qualifiers and things like that, and that's well and good, and I'm proud of them. But I also look at some of the worst runners I've had as far as performance-wise, and the progress that they made. They may run a 16-minute 2-mile, and a year from now they may run a 15-minute 2-mile, but they're proud of that because they worked hard for it. And that's what I love about this sport, is it's measurable progress, it's measurable success. And you don't see that anywhere else. You can't really measure how well somebody catches a ball or somebody shoots a basket. It's more subjective. This is a very objective sport, and that's what I like about it. And I think people get a lot out of it. I like the fact that you have to work hard and instill those kind of things that are really going to help you be successful in life.
Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you. A proper running form can do wonders on one's ability to be able to achieve their goals, but it is how you apply what you learned today in this video that will make a difference in fulfilling your dreams to becoming a successful runner. It is how good you want to be as a runner and how hard you're willing to work for it that is going to set you apart from those who accept mediocrity, to feel the joy in the next couple of weeks or even months as you progress, and then you'll look back and say to yourself, I have done it. Running personally for me has been a great experience. I've made great friends in this sport. I look up to the upperclassmen. They are my inspiration to keep running. And this sport is truly amazing. It's fun, competitive. It gets your adrenaline running. And best of all, it's good for you. You can really feel accomplished no matter what, if you're good or not, because it is measurable progress. It has taught me not to give up, to try even harder when the going gets tough, and that is what makes it worth it. I hope that this video helps other runners achieve whatever they set themselves to do, because I know it has helped me to do better. Trying to change a habit may feel awkward, but once you perform it multiple times, you get used to it, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. Just know what your goal is, and aim for it. Never give up, because you have the ability to do whatever you set your mind to.